I think I liked Adopt a Sailor, but I am willing to admit that if the cast were different, I might be saying something different. This was released in 2008. It's written and directed by Charles Everett, and we have a cast including Bebe Neuwirth, Peter Coyote, and Ethan Peck. And this is about an Adopt a Sailor program where the sailors dock in New York in this case. And for the night, a family takes the sailor in, gives them a bed, gives them a hot meal. And throughout the hour and 20 minutes of the film, we get to know not just the sailor, but also the married couple. The married couple are Patricia and Richard. The sailor is just called Sailor, which I think is quite interesting. And there are two reasons why this worked, but there's also one reason why, if it weren't for Bebe Neuwirth, I might be not enjoying this. The reasons it worked for me: Bebe Neuwirth, absolutely love her, and she's brilliant in this film. And also the character of the sailor. I think the sailor was a very interesting, very well-written character. Really enjoyed the performance. I think Ethan Peck made him a very, very likeable character. I will say Richard is not a likeable character. I find him to be very irritating. But thankfully, Patricia is in pretty much all of this. There's one point when she's briefly out of the house, but aside from that, she's in it, and therefore Bebe Neuwirth is in it in its entirety. And while she does have some character flaws, Patricia is a significantly more likeable character than Richard. However, the reason I might not like it is that not a lot happens. It is obviously largely about the sailor and his experiences and his life, and how that's actually, or certainly his upbringing, is vastly different to the life of New York. But at the same time, it's also about the relationship between Richard and Patricia, and some problems that might be there in their marriage. And as a character study, I guess it's interesting, but really not a lot happens. I do prefer narratives that are a lot stronger. This one is basically just about the dialogue. It's about the discussions between the characters and what we can learn about the characters. The dialogue is very well written, for the most part. So I think there are enough qualities in this for me to be engaged with the film. But had it not been for Bebe Neuwirth, I might not have liked it quite as much. And I'm willing to admit that bias. I definitely think that that's the case. Had it been an actor I've never heard of, perhaps, I wouldn't have been as drawn to that character. So I guess I'm not in a position to accurately assess whether or not this is a good film. I think it depends on what mood I'm in, but always in the mood for Bebe Neuwirth. Do I recommend it? Honestly, I've got no idea, because I did enjoy it for the most part, but largely because of Bebe Neuwirth. Well, if you're a Bebe Neuwirth fan, I definitely recommend it. As I said, the sailor is also a really interesting, very likeable character, and the dialogue is very well written, but it definitely is quite slow. It's not a film I could be in the mood for at all times. So I don't know. I really genuinely don't know if I think it's a good film, or if I'm just really, really biased with my love of Bebe Neuwirth. I'd love to know what you think of it if you check it out. I'd say it might be worth watching. It's definitely one that has some good points. I think it can be quite thought-provoking, but the narrative isn't the most interesting. I don't know. I can't really come to a better conclusion than that. I'm glad I don't give films score ratings out of 5 or 10 or whatever, because I just genuinely don't know what I'd do with this one. I guess I can say I liked it because of Bebe Neuwirth and because of the character of the sailor. The dialogue is pretty well written, but there are plenty of times when things are quite slow. We have some really great performances across the board. Even though I didn't like Richard as a character, I did think everybody's performance was very good. It's an interesting enough character study, an interesting look at the relationships. Personally, I think I'd need something else from the narrative to make it a little bit more interesting. But that being said, because of Bebe Neuwirth, I can't deny that actually I thought the experience was not too bad.